Ah, yes, no music yet. No music yet. I decided to hop in very quickly because this morning I wrote down my pre-show announcement very diligently, and then I proceeded to work on my show notes and just get everything prepared. And maybe what is it 3 minutes ago or something to that effect, I realized, oh my god, I never published the pre-show announcement. So I'm going to chit chat for a little bit and make sure that everybody is here before we start our show formally. Please let me have a sip of water. mm, think of this as the little moment that you have with your close friends when you're still getting dressed to go out and have a good time tonight. So let's see. We're at 58. We're going to wait a little bit for the numbers to go up. I don't know why I forgot to push the darn button. I mean, I was so diligent in getting everything prepared, but I spaced out. You know what? I was really busy thinking about some of the news that we're going to share today. And of course, I was really busy thinking about the fact that today is Tuesday, and it is Tuesday the 13th. Now, for you folks coming from um, what's the correct term, from Anglo countries. In English speaking countries, in many English speaking countries, it is Friday the 13th that is the bad date. In Latin countries, and I also mean Latin as in Roman times and so forth and so on, it is Tuesday the 13th that is the bad luck day. And certainly in Mexico, we even have a um, a saying that says, "En martes ni te cases ni te embarques," which means that on Tuesday, don't sail away or don't take a trip and don't get married. And and that's what it is. It is martes 13. So I don't know. We could have a wonderful day. We could have a crazy day, but I'm going to have a wonderful time. Why? Because I'm sitting here with you, and there's 82 of you live. So I think it's a good time to get the show on the road. Let's get started. Okay, here we go. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we take a look at what's going on in our city, our state, and our country. We also stretch out our eyes, nose, ears, throat, everything we can to find out what kind of exciting things are happening in the city. All of this so that we can try to have an amazing life living here in Puerto Vallarta as a community of English speaking locals. Today is Tuesday, the 13th. Um, Bad luck day for Latin American countries and Latin countries in general. But we're not going to think about that. We're going to think about how wonderful it is that we're gathered here today. And if this is your first time, as is the case of Lance, who put a big N at the beginning of his message, I hope that N means that you are new. If that is the case, if you're new, just let us know that you're new. We'll give you a proper welcome. And for Lance, hey, welcome to Coffee and This is what we do. We get together, we go through the news, and then in the second half of the program, we look at all your comments like I just did, and we agree, we disagree, we throw things at one another, and overall try to leave the experience feeling a little bit more inspired, a little bit more fulfilled, having laughed a little, and that's what we're going to try to do today, despite the fact that we have some very thought-provoking news to share. News that have to do with the pandemic, news that have to do with the fact that if you own a car in the state of Jalisco, you need to take it to inspection. It is about to become mandatory, and if you get inspected or if you get stopped and you don't have your inspection sticker, you get a couple of tries, I believe, but after the third one, everything goes to hell. So we'll have information about that. We'll have information about the Marigalante and other vessels that have started moving about the bay. And No, we don't have Taco Tuesday. I decided to postpone Taco Tuesday in favor of something more selfish and more important, and this will make sense at the end of the broadcast. What is going to happen at the end of the broadcast? We are going to talk about the music of Polish composer Frédéric Chopin. And if you don't know why it is so fundamental that we do this today, well, you can stick around and find out. This will be at the end of the broadcast because I know that not everybody loves classical music or not everybody loves the music of Frédéric Chopin. Let's see what else I need to tell you. I need to put my notes in order so that I can give you a proper delivery. Give me 1 second. Meanwhile, be thinking about how much you like the music of Frédéric Chopin. Be thinking about whether this is something that you enjoy. I know that we used to have Music Mondays, and we don't have them anymore. We are not about to embark in Music Monday again, but today Frédéric Chopin is really important. And it is important because there is a competition going on out there, and I'm going to tell you all about it, but not before I get my show notes prepared. And now it is time to dive into the news. Was I stalling just now? Yes, I was. I was waiting for something to open. Anyhow, let's start by saying that there were 1,800 COVID vaccines available yesterday for folks in their 30s and tourism personnel, and 1,100 were actually applied, which is absolutely wonderful. The remaining 700 doses were shipped back to Guadalajara. Let us hope that the new campaigns are announced sometime in the near future. We don't have any new information about this just yet. Sobering news. This past weekend alone, Puerto Vallarta registered 315 new COVID-19 cases among the population. This is a very high number. If you consider that in the entire month of March, this past March, in the entire month, there were 294 cases registered in 30 days, or 31 or 29, however many days March had, whereas this past weekend, 315 cases were registered in 3 days, higher than an entire month not too long ago. Yesterday, we learned that Governor Alfaro's wife, Joanna Santillan, has tested positive for COVID-19. Governor Alfaro canceled all his events in order to get tested as well. We have learned that he has tested negative, which is also good news. We wish his wife the best of recovery. And we share the fact that up until this past month, 17 of the 32 governors in Mexico have tested positive to COVID-19, including also the President of Mexico, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, and Health Undersecretary Hugo López Gatell. Now let's talk about hospitals. We keep hearing that the hospital cases are increasing, and when asked about hospital saturation, Governor Alfaro denied that we are running out of hospital beds in the state at this time. It is worth mentioning that in the early stages of the pandemic, a number of hospital beds were converted to better care for COVID patients, and some hospitals, given the fact that we were doing so well, have already begun a process of reconversion of their hospital beds for regular use. Some people are thinking we don't have hospital beds. Governor Alfaro says we do. I actually did not get any specific information about local hospital beds, so I can only hope that Puerto Vallarta has enough resources to care for the increasing number of cases that we are seeing in the last few days. More on new COVID-19 cases in the state. In 1 week, the percentage of cases among folks between 25 and 29 years of age went from 12 to 18%. And the percentage of cases among people that are 20 to 24 years of age doubled, going from 7 to 14%. In contrast, when it comes to hospitalization, the group of 65 years of age and older continues to be the highest age group. That is, older folk are more likely to be hospitalized than younger folk. To that effect, Governor Alfaro commented, our youth is spreading the virus among the senior population and sending them to the hospital. This is what we must understand. This is why we are asking everyone, particularly young people, to act responsibly and to get vaccinated. Even Mexico President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador addressed the youth population in Mexico yesterday, urging them to act responsibly. Moderate your behavior, he said. It is not about staying locked up, and it's not about prohibition. It's about you acting responsibly, as you are the most susceptible age group, and it's happening throughout the country. Your youth will make it less likely that you'll have a serious case. If you get the virus, you won't need to be hospitalized, but you could easily spread it to others whose bodies are less equipped to combat the disease. And that's all we have right now for COVID. Now we move into this business of, oh no, we have one more. My bad. This is not about COVID, but this is important for you to know. If you're living in Fraccionamiento Ecoterra, you will experience some water shortages tomorrow between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. This is due to maintenance work that is scheduled by CEPAL. So take your showers early. That's all I can say. Now, let me tell you a little bit about this whole business about car verification. Car verification shouldn't be news to folks, for example, living in Mexico City, where your car is only allowed to circulate on certain days, given the last number in your license plate. Many wealthy Mexicans have several cars so that they can drive one car in some days and other cars in another. This is, of course, to protect our environment from ozone and all kinds of pollutants that happen as a result of driving cars that are not properly maintained. Yes, we are talking about those cars whose mufflers are really loud and who happen to emit a large amount of smoke. So, if you drive in Puerto Vallarta or in the state of Jalisco for that matter, car verification is about to become mandatory this coming month. Verification ensures that your vehicle is operating optimally and therefore reducing atmospheric emissions that can contaminate the environment. There are a number of guidelines that will come into effect, and of course, they're all very cryptic, but for starters, if your license plate ends in the number 7, you are part of the first group that will be verified, and you need to enter a special website to make an appointment. We are going to leave the website in the show notes. The process will cost 500 pesos. And if you are driving from other states, you will have to obtain some sort of special visitor sticker similar to the one that you have to obtain when you enter Mexico City. You know, if you're a tourist and you happen to just be exploring the city and you don't know that cars in your with the license plate, the number ending in your license plate such that you're not allowed to drive. You know, you're driving to Mexico City, and if you don't have this special sticker, they will stop you. So we don't know exactly how these things are going to be implemented just yet. We don't know exactly what's going to happen with cars that have foreign license plates, but at the very least, I can show you what the new website looks like. This is the website where you are going to have to enter to initiate the process of verifying your vehicle. And if I scroll down, you can see more information about how it works and so forth and so on. But here's the important bit. These are the last numbers in your license plate, and these are the months in which you are expected to handle your verification. This is why I'm telling you that license plates that end in number 7 are the first ones that are going to be verified starting in August and continuing through September. Of course, the website also includes a handy dandy map. Let me show it to you. This handy dandy map, which shows you where you can get your car verified. And of course, at this stage of the game, there's only 2 locations in the city of Guadalajara. So you're probably wondering, well, what about us? What about us? What about the rest of the state? Well, you're not alone. Everybody's wondering how it is that Oh, thank you very much for the clarification from my tocayo Paco Moraz. Paco Moraz says there's no obligation for Puerto Vallarta yet, only for Guadalajara's metro zone. Again, I will not tell you that I agree or disagree, but this sort of comes into conflict with some of the sources that I've been reading this morning. So, again, you can expect there's going to be some confusion about this in the beginning. I am just reporting what I am seeing in the sources that I'm citing. So, let us all be mindful of this situation, and hopefully, it'll become clear to everyone in the very near future. In the very near future is our examination of our weather. Let us take a quick look at what the weather is telling us. And Jorge, don't be confused. You don't even live here, so you don't have to worry about this. Obligatory, mandatory, don't be confused. Or if you're going to be confused, please know that everybody else along with you is presently confused. And now, let's take a look at the confusing weather. According to our snarky carrot weather, Aristotle invented the pseudoscience of meteorology. Okay, this is good to know. Yes, I pushed the wrong button, my bad. What is important to know, I was saying, is that we are now enjoying a 28-degree temperature. It feels like 35, humidity is at 97%. We are enjoying a temperature of 82 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you want to know the weather forecast for today, we are going to have possibly rain, light rain in the evening with a high temperature of 32, low temperature 24. Tomorrow, Wednesday, possible light rain in the evening and overnight with a high temperature of 32, low temperature of 25. Thursday, possible light rain until morning, high temperature of 32, low temperature of 23. And now, of course, we continue with a couple of other headlines that I want to share with you. The first one having nothing to do with Puerto Vallarta, but what do you know? I thought it was interesting. Why? Because maybe, just maybe, you happen to be a martini kind of guy or a martini kind of gal. And I know that many of you enjoy coffee and are probably enjoying a cup right now. But there is this summer trend, apparently, of drinking espresso martinis, which have a reputation of perking you up during the evening and messing you up during the following morning with a glorious hangover. Is it the combination of ingredients? Well, there's an article in English where you can read a little bit more about this. This came from the Huffington Post, and I'll include it in the show notes along with all the very confusing headlines about the car inspection business. And again, we have a whole 2 weeks to be confused and get deconfused by updates. So we're hoping that by the beginning of August, which is when all this is going to go into effect, we'll have some more clarity from the authorities. I also want to let you know that when I was having dinner, I forgot to mention, I was having dinner with my friend Alina at Vitea, and I saw something that seemed really unusual. I saw the Marigalante out and about, and it turns out that the Marigalante and other leisure vessels are back in service here in Puerto Vallarta with a maximum capacity of passengers of 75%, as I understand it. Of course, operators would like nothing more than having a 100% capacity, and of course, we would like nothing more than people following the current sanitary guidelines if they're going to ride one of these things. All I can tell you is that if you choose to embark on a tourism vessel and it's crowded, simply turn around and ask for a refund. This, my friends, brings us to the end of our news section. We are not going to continue with the Chopin business. We're going to save that until the very end because I appreciate that not everybody cares for the music of Polish composer Frédéric Chopin. What we're going to do now is we are going to take a look at your comments, and those of you that remain after the fact will be crowned with the pleasure of being music lovers, and I will appreciate your time shared with me. A lot of good mornings this morning, as usual. Thank you very much for showing up and being a part of my morning. It is such a pleasure to see you all every morning. And when you check in from other places, like John, who's checking in from Anaheim, or Albert, who's checking in from Woodland Hills. You remind us that there's love for Puerto Vallarta in many, many places, and this is always grace. Uh, I liked when we could connect before you were live. I liked when we could connect before you were live. I understand that to mean I liked when we could get the little advertising warning that I was going to go live. Terry, you are making it sound like it's never going to happen again. I just forgot today. Please accept my apologies. It'll happen again tomorrow. Uh, oh my God, THC Tuesday. That sounds like such a grand idea, Trucha. After I get all my responsible things done, I will act responsibly and THC myself as I like to do during the evening. And no, as I said before, no tacos today. We'll have tacos on Thursday. Jody, safe flight to Puerto Vallarta today. I hope you get here safely. Uh, 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 Oh, Lance. Oh, I see. Now, this is your first time to watch live. Groovy, groovy, groovy. It's so nice that you feel connected. Well, there's a lot of opportunities to make connections here. Lance, just grab your favorite beverage and we'll have a good time. Let's see. Um, Hello from Winnipeg. Hello to Deborah Lee. Awesome to see you. Oh, Minnesota's in the house. Uh, Chopin is also a good vodka. I didn't even know that there was such a thing as a Chopin vodka. Maybe drink and listen to music. That's my favorite MO. Thank you. Uh, uh, mm, mm, mm. Oh, N for new, B for bienvenido. Okay, whatever. Let's see. Missing live music. Oh, I hear you. Ontario is opening soon. We are starting to open slowly and prudently, I hope. Juan Ignacio sends saludos from Vallejos, California. Saludos back to you. Uh, Thank you very much for that report, Earl. Yes, we know, and people should know that getting vaccinated is not a 100% bulletproof vest that you wear. This can happen to everyone. Um, let's see what else. What else? Dee da dee da da dee da. Flirtini, says my cousin from Chicago. I love all kinds of things that end with teeny, except for peony. Oh my God, did I just say that? No, I didn't say that. No, I didn't. You were just imagining things. Okay, I'm at the end of your comments, which means that now we get to talk about Frédéric Chopin. If Chopin or classical music or those kinds of affairs are not your cup of tea, I wish you a lovely day at this point. And if you are still here, all 105 of you, I learned that you are music lovers. And before I do that, thank you very much for that big, big, big collaboration, Paco. And again, we are going to continue to be taking in all this information as we get it and making the best of it. Again, this contradicts something that I read in other sources, which is why it's important to make sure that we read as many sources as we can. I'm not saying that you are right or I'm wrong or vice versa. I just say that we're going to continue looking at this information. Okay, so lately, some of you have been talking about the Tour de France. And yesterday, and that's okay, you know, it's a great competition, lots of great leg action and eye candy and stuff like that. But another very, very important competition started yesterday. And this is a chance for you to embark on it. Yesterday, I thought I would mention it. And then I thought to myself, no, they don't want to know about it. But then I felt remorseful during the evening, particularly when I started watching the competition. What are you talking about, Paco? Well, I'm talking about the 18th Chopin competition coming from Warsaw, from that city that starts with a W, Warsaw, from Poland. The Chopin competition is one of the most prestigious classical piano competitions in the world, and the only one devoted to promoting exclusively the music of Polish composer Frédéric Chopin. This competition is like football in Poland. I mean, everybody follows it, everybody knows who competes, everybody knows, has their opinion about the different competitors. And of course, the Chopin competition has launched many, many careers of important piano players that we've heard. Why? Because record labels pay attention to who does well in the competition, and a lot of these competitors get signed. Now, the competition has taken place. It was launched at the beginning of the 20th century, and it has taken place every 5 years since 1955. Although it was canceled in 1942 due to World War II, and it was also postponed last year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So, what do you need to know about how to enjoy this competition? Well, what you need to know is that there is a whole series of preliminaries. Let me see if the website. Well, I am pushing all the wrong buttons today, including who involved who. How did we get the LunaCam here? Oh my God, I am really pushing all the wrong buttons today. This is not good. I have completely destroyed my LunaCam. Hold on just a second. How do I get rid of it? We don't want to see it. There you go. Okay. Anyhow, I was telling you, let me see if we have, oh yes, here we have a list of competitors. First of all, there are competitors from all over the world trying to get into the competition. The competition is set up in stages. There's a preliminary stage right now, and it started yesterday, and it has folks from Italy, from Ukraine, Canada, Poland, Chinese Taipei, China, South Korea, so forth and so on. And all these competitors are young, and they're all pretty, and they all play like little angels. I mean, unless you happen to have a professional touring, reputable piano player on your speed dial, anything that these kids, and yes, they are so fracking young, anything that these kids play is going to be truly spectacular. Now, how does this competition unfold? Well, they are given a choice of compositions by Frédéric Chopin to perform. And all the compositions are listed here. And you can see a little bit of the scores. And for any competition, if you click on any of the pieces, you can get a little write-up on what the pieces are about and what the challenges are. So the preliminaries are organized in such a way that right now there are two preliminary daily stages. In the morning, a group of these pianists play a half an hour recital of Chopin pieces of their choice. They are evaluated by a jury. And then it also happens in the afternoon. There are two daily programs, and these daily programs, of course, are available on YouTube. Now, let me see if the calendar is showing us right now who's doing what and what's going on. We know that right now they're streaming live. Here we go. See, for example, when we look at the preliminary schedule, yesterday, during the morning, we heard Leonora Armelini, Lucas Berdi, Eric Guo, Andrei Wierczynski, Luigi Carroccia, and Kai Ming Chang. They all played yesterday morning, and then in the evening, we heard these other piano players. So here's what happens. If you are familiar, oh shit. Okay, clearly it is Friday, it is Tuesday the 13th, and I've sent all my buttons to pot, and I'm going to have to recalibrate the automatic buttons. Never mind. When you watch these recitals, you get a sense as to what these pianists are about. If you are already familiar with Chopin's music, then it is really fascinating to hear what kind of nuances these pianists bring into the game. And if you're not familiar with the pieces, because you're going to hear them over and over again, it is a good way to become acquainted with the material. So, for example, if I go to the YouTube page right now, earlier before this morning, I was watching yesterday morning's competition, and I don't. Ah, there you go. It is filmed beautifully. You get to hear the music well. You get to see the fingers in action, and you get to look at him. He's like just so young, and the way they play is absolutely astounding. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you with all the information you want to have, so that you can follow the competition. I'm going to leave you with the website for the Chopin competition. I'm going to leave you with their YouTube channel. And it is a great way for you to engage in a competition as fascinating as the the Tour de France, and in a very, very different way. The competition, I might add, will go on for a while. If I look at the calendar, um, there's going to be preliminaries going on through the rest of this month. So I'm talking dozens and dozens of pianists that are going to be competing. And then the preliminary is followed by three stages in which they continue to eliminate piano players until you end up with very few. And those very few piano players are the ones that end up, of course, there's always a winner, and the very few semi-finalists are the ones that end up with these spectacular record label contracts and so forth and so on. The stage one to stage three and the final concert will take place during the month of October. So there is a break between what's going on now and the very end. The final is not going to be until the 21st to the 23rd of October. Imagine the pressure. And then this is followed by prize winner concerts. So if you wish to immerse in this world of Chopin music, you will come out being absolutely nauseated by it because you'll hear so much of it. But it truly, truly is a wonderful way to appreciate this beautiful music, beautiful to many. So let me take a quick look at any comments you may have shared after we began talking about this. Let's see. I love classical music. I would love to have your knowledge. You can have my knowledge anytime, Cindy. We will resume our music appreciation lectures at some point, I hope. My fingers are crossed, but with all these um, back steps in the pandemic, I just don't know what's going to be happening. Um, do I remember many years ago Van Cliburn won this competition? I was too young to know. But right after Van Cliburn from Texas won the competition, I do remember being a kid. There was an album, an LP in my parents' house called My Favorite Chopin, which is the first thing he recorded after winning the competition. And it went on to become a very high selling LP. And at home, it was played over and over again. So that record, that Van Cliburn record, marked my ears with performances of his music that continue to be etched in here somehow. So every time I hear music from that album performed by other pianists, I immediately sense and hear that something is being played differently. And that's what happens when you become so closely familiarized with these piano pieces or with music in general. You know, when somebody performs it ever so slightly differently. And it happens with pop music as well. If you hear your favorite performer, say Sting, performing something in an album, it is recorded in the studio. So it could be exciting or perhaps perplexing or even disappointing in some cases, not always, when you hear the same music being performed live or by other performers. So it is all very, very fascinating. Are other competitors actually in Warsaw, or are there virtual presentations? They are all in Poland. This is all being broadcast from Poland. They are all there, and the organization has said that they're keeping the strictest guidelines in terms of making sure that they wipe the pianos between each performer and so forth and so on. Um, Too many brownies. I wish we're not there just yet, but yeah, I started pushing buttons and things started going a whack. I apologize. Um, yes, Clyburn won the Tchaikovsky competition in Moscow as well, 1958. Let's see what else. Oh, I miss you so, Claude. My friends Claude and Lucas are in Canada, but I wish you're always here. You're always here. And my penis plant, which you gifted me back there, where is it? Back there. Oh, pues, that thing which you gifted me is a daily reminder and a daily presence of your lives in mine. And that, my friends, that's all we have for today. I'm going to push this button. Ah, nothing wrong happened. This was supposed to happen, and it did. Thank you very much for joining us today. Tomorrow we walk. Tomorrow we walk. And I noticed enough comments about Malecon that I gather enough of you want to see what the Malecon looks like late at night with crowded people not wearing face masks. So we're going to edit that today. If it is of good quality, if it isn't, we'll go out and take an emergency walk somewhere else. And we will tackle Tuesday on Thursday if all goes well. Between now and then, thank you for joining us. It really is so wonderful to spend some quality time with you in the mornings. And I hope you will have a safe day today. I hope you will continue to take care of yourselves and your loved ones as we all know to do. Stay kind, stay happy, stay connected, stay in touch, and come back soon. Have an awesome day.